This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I'm tabling a petition on behalf of my constituents which are asking for another no confidence vote to be held. This is a petition I had out on my New Year's levee earlier in January, so this is the earliest opportunity I had to get it certified by journals. It's very simple. My constituents are asking for a vote of non-confidence to be held within 45 days, and should the government lose it, to hold a new federal election. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Presenting petitions, the honourable member for Bonavista, Burin, Trinity.
Nice colour of the shirt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I present this petition on behalf of the residents in my riding of Bonavista, Burin, Trinity. Whereas C-57 is an important update to the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement that will assist Ukraine in rebuilding after they defeat the illegal invasion by Vladimir Putin. Ukraine President Zelensky and the Canadian Congress has called on the Parliament of Canada to swiftly adopt this legislation, and whereas misinformation regarding Canada's carbon pricing scheme having an effect on the agreement has been widely debunked, therefore, we, the undersigned citizens of Canada, call upon the House of Commons and all parliamentarians to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to Ukraine by swiftly adopting the updated Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Presenting petitions, the honourable member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Sure. This is a source of deep concern from constituents in Saanich Gulf Islands, and that is the shortage, the critical shortage of family doctors and healthcare practitioners. Statistics Canada says that approximately 4.8 million Canadians do not have what we think of as a family doctor or primary healthcare practitioner, nurse practitioner, or others. The concerned citizens and residents who signed this petition call on the House of Commons to work with provinces and territories to come to a holistic and fair solution to this critical and deeply concerning shortage of doctors. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Presenting petitions, the honourable member for Nanaimo Ladysmith. Sorry about that.
Today on behalf of constituents and volunteer firefighters in my riding of Nanaimo Ladysmith, including those working at the Gabriola, Ladysmith, Lanceville Extension, East Wellington, North Oyster, North Cedar, Nanoose, and Nanaimo fire stations. Madam Speaker, volunteer firefighters account for 71% of Canada's total firefighting essential first responders. In addition, approximately 8,000 essential search and rescue volunteers respond to thousands of incidences every year. These essential volunteers not only put their lives on the line and give their time, training, and efforts to Canadians, but they also allow cities and municipalities to keep property taxes lower than if paid services were required. Madam Speaker, increasing this tax credit would allow those essential volunteers to keep more of their hard-earned money likely to be spent in the communities in which they live, and will help retain these volunteers in a time when volunteerism is decreasing. For these reasons, Madam Speaker, those who have signed this petition are asking to increase the amount of the tax credit for volunteer firefighting and search and rescue volunteer services from $3,000 to $10,000. Thank you.
Petitions, the honourable member for Barrie, Springwater, Oro-Medonte.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is always an honour to present a petition on behalf of constituents in my riding of Barrie, Springwater, Oro-Medonte. These particular petitioners note that a significant portion of the sexually explicit material accessed online is made available on the internet for commercial purposes and is not protected by any effective age verification method, and that the consumption of sexually explicit material by young persons is associated with a range of serious harms. Therefore, the petitioners call on the House of Commons to adopt Bill S-210, the Protecting Young Persons from Exposure to Pornography Act. Thank you.
Presenting petitions, the honourable member for Humber River, Black Creek.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm pleased to present two petitions that have been certified by the House calling on the government to make support for Bill C-284. Given the fact that over 8 million people are suffering from eye diseases and 1.2 million live with vision loss or blindness, 75% of vision loss cases, if diagnosed and treated early, are preventable. Historically, the federal government has lacked any substantive framework on the matter of public eye health care, and the current structure has created huge gaps in access to care. Therefore, we, the undersigned citizens and residents of Canada, call upon the House of Commons to adopt Bill C-284, the enact to establish a national strategy for eye care as soon as possible, and I can report to the House that they have done that, and the House has supported C-284. Thank you.
Big petitions. The honourable member Kitchener Centre.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honour to rise to present a petition that first of all notes that housing is a human right. Petitioners go on to note that both the Government of Ontario and the Government of Canada have both consistently failed to adequately fund social housing. They go on to note research specific to the Housing First model that notes that housing formerly unsheltered folks consistently improves their health and quality of life, even to the point where these improved life outcomes leads to reduction in cost in other areas of government. They note a Scotiabank report that found that even if Canada were to double its social housing stock, we would still be around the peer average for social housing in the OECD. They go on to note that the lack of action by one level of government shouldn't excuse the lack of action by another. As a result, petitioners go on to call on both the Government of Canada and the Government of Ontario to work together to double the current social housing stock in Ontario. Thank you.
Presenting petitions, the honourable member for Dauphin, Swan River, Nipawin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honour always to present a petition on behalf of constituents. Madam Speaker, I rise for the 31st time on behalf of the people of Swan River, Manitoba, to present a petition on the rising rate of crime. The community of Swan River is consumed with unprecedented levels of crime because of this government's soft on crime laws like Bill C-5 and C-75. Bill C-5 allows criminals to serve their sentences from home, and Bill C-75 allows violent offenders to be in jail in the morning and back out on the street in the afternoon. The people of Swan River are calling for jail, not bail, for violent repeat offenders. Madam Speaker, the people of Swan River demand that this Liberal government repeal their soft on crime policies that directly threaten their livelihoods and their community. I support the good people of Swan River.
Yes, you do.
Presenting petitions, the honourable member for Waterloo.
Madam Speaker, I have two petitions today. One is in regards to float homes in Ontario and just making sure that they are classified the way they should be. I have presented a similar petition actually twice in the past, and it's something that constituents within the riding of Waterloo and surrounding areas, depending on where they cottage and so forth, are very concerned with. And it's a matter of great importance to them, and if it matters to them, it clearly matters to me as the Member of Parliament for Waterloo. And they look forward to a response from the Government of Canada and a way forward, and they're more than willing to work with the government to make this happen. Madam Speaker, I also present another petition in regards to the killing of Masa Amini, a 22-year-old woman, and there has been many people raising their voices within my community of Waterloo as her death has sparked a nationwide women, life, freedom protests calling for democracy and equal rights. They are asking for the Government of Canada to appeal to the UN Security Council. It's important that these conversations be had. It's important that their voices be heard. And I, as their representative, committed to making sure that their voices would be heard in this chamber, and they look forward to a response from the Government of Canada. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The honourable for Provencher.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have two petitions here today. The first one, the petitioners are concerned about how easy it is for young people to access sexually explicit material online, including violent and degrading explicit material. They comment on how this access is important public health and public safety concern. Petitioners note that a significant portion of commercially accessible sexually explicit material has no age verification software. Moreover, that age verification software can ascertain the age of users without breaching their privacy rights. Petitioners note many serious harms associated with sexually explicit materials, including the development of addiction and the development of attitudes favorable to sexual violence and harassment of women. As such, these petitioners call on the House of Commons to pass Bill S-210, the Protecting Young Persons from Exposure to Pornography Act.
Petitions, sorry, you have another one? Sorry.
Speaker, I'm sorry, I should have been clear. I also want to present a petition on behalf of many Canadians who are concerned about human rights protections in Turkey, Pakistan, and Bahrain. The petitioners say that Turkish, Pakistani, and Bahraini officials committed gross human rights violations against thousands of Turks, including 8 Turkish Canadians. Petitioners say that Turkish officials killed hundreds, including Gökhan Akakala. The petitioners say that the Turkish officials have wrongfully detained over 300,000 people without reason. The petitioners say that multiple international human rights groups have confirmed gross human rights violations in Turkey. The petitioners ask that the government closely monitor human rights in Turkey, sanction the Turkish officials who committed gross human rights violations against 8 Canadians and killed Gökhan, and call on Turkey, Pakistan, and Bahrain's governments to end all human rights violations in their respective countries. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Presenting petitions, the Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and as always, it is an honour to be able to stand in this place and present a petition on behalf of the good people of Battle River Crowfoot. And today, in particular, I would like to present a petition that was presented to me in person by a group that I met with in my constituency office about concerns related to needing to have a conversation around electoral reform. And although, Madam Speaker, we certainly didn't agree on everything, I value immensely the productive conversation that I had with this group of constituents, and on behalf of these constituents, I am proud to be able to stand on their behalf and present this petition that calls on that would call on the House of Commons to give voice to the subject of electoral reform and to make recommendations related to the motion that was brought forward. And although I did not vote for it, again, the productive conversation related to motion M86. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and as always, it is an honour to be able to stand on their behalf.
Again, the honourable member knows full well that he can't indicate whether he supported or support a petition, so I would just ask members to please refrain from doing that. They should be reading what is in the petition and not giving their own personal point of view or saying how they're going to vote or how they voted. Presenting petitions, présentation de pétitions. I understand that I have a point of order. The honourable member for Winnipeg's South Centre.
Madam Speaker, my apologies for interrupting the business of the House. I'm in Winnipeg and had some technical issues which prevented me from voting.
The honourable member knows. The honourable member knows that he has to have a jacket and a tie in order to speak. Introduction of private members' bills. Ms. Collins, seconded by Ms. McPherson, moves for leave to introduce a bill entitled An Act to Prohibit the Export of Thermal Coal from Canada. This motion is deemed adopted. L'honorable député de Victoria.
The honourable member for Victoria.
Speaker, today I'm pleased to be tabling a bill to ban the export of thermal coal from Canada. I want to first thank the member from Edmonton Strathcona for seconding the bill, and also thank EcoJustice for their advocacy, for their support for this bill, and their work to end the export of thermal coal. The government has been painstakingly slow to move on their promise to ban thermal coal exports. Instead of phasing it out under the Liberals, thermal coal exports have tripled. This bill not only starts the work that the Liberals have failed to do, it also requires that the government consult with trade unions and workers who would be affected by changes before a ban were to happen. Canadians across the country have been living with the impacts of the climate crisis, and coal remains the largest contributor to climate change. Thermal coal has no place in a world serious about tackling the climate crisis, and emissions do not know borders. It's time to ban thermal coal exports.